What up, homeboys? Today we're gonna do a tier 8 solo dungeon in the Black Zone. We're gonna explain everything with the Nature Staff build. This build is Soldier Boots, Stalker's Jacket, Cowl of Purity, Nature Staff, Mist Color, and Tedford Cape. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of this cape. We're gonna get a cheaper cape. There you go. I got a normal cape, 5.1. For whatever reason, 5.1 seems to be cheaper than 4.2. They are essentially the same item. Okay, so this entire loadout that you got right here is worth 157k, and that's counting the horse. We're gonna get a tier 8 map from the auction house because the maps, they have better loot, they have better fame, better everything. Okay, this is a little pricey. Okay, you pop the map. Takes you to a random zone that is next to the portal. We're gonna go to High Tree Strand. Okay, we take the invisibility shrine right here so nobody can find us when we go into the dungeon, because remember, your dungeon can be invaded, and most of the time in this build, if you get invaded, that means you gotta get out of the dungeon. Sadly, you are kind of a sitting duck. You can beat some melees, it's not too bad against melees, but most of the time you are pretty screwed if somebody invades you. Okay, let's get in. Oh, I forgot to equip all my abilities. Give me a second. We're gonna take Thorn Growth for the Q, Revitalize on the W. Revitalize is gonna heal you and keep you alive longer. We're gonna take damage resistances. We're gonna take the Cowl of Purity right here. This is probably the most expensive part of your gear, and you do it for this Avalonian Beam ability. It has a laser, you do damage, we need damage. Same with Stalker's Jacket. This is actually a lot cheaper. Food is the Pork Omelette. It gives you cooldown reduction. That's always good in this build. Your Revitalize gives you more mana, so you don't really need that much. The whole point of this build is that you can take multiple enemies at once and just AoE them down. You don't have as much damage as other builds, but you can take more enemies down at once. You can see right here, ping 200 milliseconds, so you can tell I got quite a bit of latency. I am not trying to cheese this with some super micro outplay ability or something like that. I am a pretty mediocre, if not outright bad player. I am trying to showcase that anybody can do this with very little gear. Solo dungeons are the best way to farm silver early on. That's mainly why I do this. It is very efficient on a new account. You don't have to deal with other people that much. You can do other things. I don't know how it's gonna be with the new Avalon rework that they are doing this update. That'll be pretty interesting, but Avalonian chests are also decent if you're like a new player. I might do a guide on that later. And you can also solo Avalonian chests with this build, believe it or not. Yeah, this is like the ultimate cheese. This build isn't pretty, this build isn't fancy, this build isn't impressive, but what it can do is survive things that other people can't. You see right there? I just healed back up instantly. You may not kill them as fast, but you can keep going and going and going. One good thing that I wish I would have if I played on lower latency is that I would be able to weave in a lot of more auto attacks. Remember, your Q is a damage buff. The next time you hit somebody, you see that little star this guy has on him? Right there, my Q pops it. This stacks on here. Every time I hit him, I do more damage with my auto attacks when I do my Q. So if you were in lower latency, you would be able to do a lot more damage. Chances are you are not gonna be playing in this terrible latency. I happen to live in the other corner of the planet from the servers that are located in, I believe, Chicago. So yeah, if you're in America, if you're in Western Europe, you should be having a much easier time. Your E also heals you and it does a lot more damage. That's why you don't take other nature staffs. You always want to take the one-handed ones because you do more damage. Period. This guy healed himself. I messed up. Okay, you're supposed to interrupt his heals. You got your Cowl of Purity for that. Check this out. This laser right here is an interrupt. Gotta take advantage of this shrine as much as we can. Shrines are a buff. What buff did we get here? Cooldowns reduced. Okay, we can spam more things now. Tier 8 dungeons are great for fame, but if you ask me, they are not the best silver farm. I talked about this briefly on my video. Wow, I seem to be lagging right now. There we go. Tier 6 dungeons, for whatever reason, the maps are ridiculously cheap right now. They are no challenge at all. And the loot is not that bad. So this is mainly for fame. And because I chose to actually showcase to you guys how to do this easily. People keep saying me that, oh man, you need tier 6 to farm this thing. You need like good gear to farm tier 8 dungeons. No, you don't. You just gotta get a build that is very budget friendly, like this one. Yes, there are builds that are a lot better at farming solo dungeons. The problem with those builds is that they take more money. Forgot to kill that healing totem, my bad. Okay, healer, you know how we're taking a lot of damage right now? Gonna heal it off. I'm waiting for my Q to do all the work anyway. You know, my turns are still in the ground doing damage. Don't have to do much. Sadly, it's only a green chest, but we're gonna just show you how easy it is to survive an entire boss of damage. This damage is unavoidable. He only hits you, okay? It doesn't matter how good you are at the game. He will do always the same damage to you. So it is great to have some sort of healing for this. Which I do. Check this out. I'm just tanking the damage right there. I'm healing more than he hits me for. We pop all the items to make sure we're doing it as fast as possible. And if I am sometime in a pickle, I just pop my rejuvenating sprint. Like, I am taking a lot of damage right now, but if I just want to get a little more HP, there you go, pop it. Oh, a little bit of lag, again. Why don't you stream Albion online? Here's why you're seeing it right now. My internet sucks. I miss my internets. People complain that gas prices are going up. I complain that my internet sucks right now. You know, real problems. Tier 6 Guardian boots, Knight boots, sorry, you could also be using that. It has to be any plate boot. It doesn't have to be Guardian boots or Soldier boots or whatever. Any sort of plate boot has rejuvenating sprint on it. Keep in mind, nature stuff used to be a lot stronger than it is right now, unironically. The main nerf that this suffered over the years is the auto attack animation. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Okay, we're just gonna tank through it with the heal. There we go, no biggie. As I was saying, the biggest nerf they did to this item over the years, nature stuff used to be a lot better, is your auto attack animation. Check this out. Do you see how it takes like a second to like have the guy, every 3 auto attacks, he stops auto attacking for no reason. It is hella annoying. Meanwhile, you know, you're playing Claymore and you're like ba 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 ba, you never stop. But this is the main limiter for farming dungeons. The good news is that if you do big pulls like I am doing, you know, 3 mobs, 4 mobs, 5 mobs, you don't really need auto attacks that much because your Q is doing all the work, you're just doing AoE. Oh, I ate a big one there, a big one. Oh, that's a lot of damage. You know, I can tank all the damage in the world, it doesn't even matter. You can be as bad as you want, and this build will take care of you. This is how confident I am in the nature stuff. When other people tell you to get good, I tell you to do what works when you're not good. Ooh, blue chest. This might be good. Okay, remember that our map was worth 40k and we already got 19k. So let's see if we can break even. Sometimes when you do a dungeon, the loot is gonna be so bad that you do not even break even on the map. That happens, get used to it. The way this works is that half the time you get like terrible loot and half the time you get great loot. And that evens out. Even still, again, let me tell you, just because the maps are so expensive right now, it is still better to just farm tier 6 dungeons. The maps are super cheap. I predicted it's gonna stay that way for a while. Oh, I got no items on me now. Check out this lag, boy. That's right. Internet sucks for life. Between the latency of my internet and the latency of my brain, it is very hard to do PvP in this game. Don't matter though, and ain't no third world connectivity issues gonna... Oh man, I might actually die here, what the hell? Stop it! Quit it! Too much damage, dude. Quit it! There we go. I got cocky, you know? You gotta avoid this. Loop that he does, that's a lot of damage. But as you can see right here, there is a lot of wiggle room for mistakes on this build. You are not afforded the same forgiveness when you're playing something like Boltcasters, which is also pretty good. The main problem with something like Boltcasters, which is kinda meta right now, on dungeon farming is that you do really well into bosses, which admittedly I do struggle with bosses here a lot. Mainly because I didn't have my items up, you know, that kinda sucks. There we go. Okay, the time of truth, boys. Let's see what I got from a tier 8 solo dungeon in the black zone. Blue chest. I mean, I got 20k raw silver, but yeah, I barely broke even. You know, this is the problem. half the time you get terrible loot. Keep in mind, I don't have premium app. If I had premium, I would have 50% extra loot. It doesn't really change the fact that half the time it sucks. The good thing with dungeons, tier 6 dungeons, is that you get it every time, and they are easier than this. They are way easier than this, so you can do this with even raw tier 4 without any enchantments, you know. Every time you finish a dungeon, go back to the portal for 2 reasons. First of all, maybe you got big loot and you gotta get rid of it before somebody ganks you. That's number 1. Number 2, what happens when you keep opening map after map after map without going back is that slowly you are gonna be moving away from your portal room, and you're gonna be like, let's say an example, 5 zones away from your portal. What happens when you got 1 million silver, 2 million silver, whatever it is that you do after 5 dungeons? You gotta go through 5 zones in the black zone and make sure that people don't take your stuff. Yeah, I don't think so. You may be asking, why am I doing this in the black zone? You get significantly better loot when you're doing this on the black zone. I see no reason not to do it in the black zone, even if you get ganked. You know, my gear is worthless, right? It's like 130k. If I lose it, I lose it, I move on. And this is how you grind for premium. Thanks for watching, guys. Can you do me a favor? Can you join the Discord? I'm a little lonely. I know, man. Please. Also subscribe. See ya.